Ladies and gentlemen, let me also introduce you now to Dr. Liauw Tjiek, or Dr. Aditya Nugraha from Petra Christian University. Yes, okay. He has his undergraduate degree from Petra Christian University in electrical engineering and his master degree in library and information science with Fulbright scholarship from University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. And his PhD degree is on information studies from Curtin University, Western Australia, the Endeavour Postgraduate Scholar from the Australian Department of Education. And his position now is as Director of the Excellence in Learning and Teaching Center, or ELTC. The next screen, please, Budebi. That's it. Thank you. After he finished his office as director of the library, Petra Christian University. His interests, among others, are in digital repositories, open access, and educational technology. Dr. Aditya Nugraha is one of the whole person education ambassadors after he finished his Whole Person Education Academy in 2018, Whole Person Education Eco Training the next year, and Whole Person Harvest Seminar in the same year in 2019. So ladies and gentlemen, let us give our warm applause to Dr. Aditya Nugraha with his topic on student voices on online learning. Dr. Aditya, the time is yours. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, Bu Mega. Can you all see my PowerPoint and
Yes.
my voice? Okay. My voice is okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so today I will be delivering the results of the survey that we have conducted at Petra University to students on their perspective on the online learning. So, but before we go there, I would like for us to have a little refreshing activity. I will use Mentimeter, which I have learned also as well from the Whole Person Education Academy in Ateneo. So if you would like to join me, could you please take your smartphone, or you can open a new window in your laptop and then open an internet browser, go to menti.com and then enter the 6-digit code on the top of the slide. And then click submit, and then we will, I only have 3 short questions. So just to refresh us, and then, yeah. And then I see some of you have already interacted. So if you have entered the code, you can see the heart symbol. You can click on the heart symbol if you like, and it will be reflected on my page. Okay, I will just wait like a few more seconds for people to get into Menti before I display my first question today. So yeah, 13, 14 people already. I won't be waiting for the whole participants to participate, because it will take too much time. So I will just maybe wait until maybe 50 people. Okay. And then I will start my presentation about the result of the survey. So basically I'm just sharing the result of the survey, which of course there are some limitations because the survey is conducted at Petra Christian University. So some aspect might be applicable to other universities, some aspect might not be applicable. to other universities. So that's the context of my presentation today. There are a number of things that I will not be presenting because there are too much to share. So I will just focus on the most important thing in the survey, especially what are the students' perception on the online learning, which we have to say it's forced upon all of us, either the lecturers or the students. So it's kind of like a sudden something very influential or fundamental change because of the COVID, because of the virus, and then all of a sudden we have to do everything online. Okay, so we have 40 people already, so maybe a few more seconds, and then I will just start my first question. Okay, maybe I don't have to wait until 50. I'll just start with the first question now. Okay, so I would like to see where you are connecting or joining this webinar from. Only from region, because I cannot put individual countries because there will be too many choices. So I have to group some countries together, like Indonesia and Timor-Leste, Singapore and Malaysia, the Philippines, and there are others as well. Okay, yeah, mostly from Indonesia. Yeah, that's normal to be expected. The Philippines, yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Second question will be, just a few more seconds to give the opportunity to the others. Yes, mostly from Indonesia. Yeah. Okay. I'll move to the second question. Which is, during this COVID-19, if you have to choose only one option, which one will you choose? Fully online instruction or blended? 50-50 still. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. More people selected blended instruction. Okay. Yeah, about 2 to 1. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Now the last question. You have to type for this one, so you don't select, but you have to type just short statement. What's the number one difficulty according to you that your students are facing in online instructions? If you have typed it, and then okay, internet connection. Okay, 2 out of 3 already said internet connection. 4, 5, 6. Okay, internet connection, internet access. Yeah, seems like many of us agree that internet connection is the number one problem for our students to participate in our online instructions. Yeah, amazing. All said something about connection or internet connection, or yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. I think I got the approximately the general perception of the lecturers of what is the number one difficulty for students. Okay. Okay. I'll just proceed to my presentation about the survey. Okay. So I would like to introduce first about our university. So I'm from Petra Christian University. It's a medium-sized private university located in Surabaya, and Surabaya is the second largest city in Indonesia after Jakarta. Okay, and we have approximately 8,500 students, mostly undergraduate. We have 7 faculties, including 4 international programs, and then 6 postgraduate departments. Our university is part of the Petra Christian Schools network, which comprises of 28 schools from playgroup, kindergarten, and primary up to high school. But our university is independently and separately managed from the rest of the school network. So even though we are still have a very good connection, and the majority of our students are of Chinese Indonesian descent and coming from middle to upper socioeconomic status. So that's the background of our university. And then the timeline of events regarding the COVID-19. So from the left, in 19th of March, we started the online learning. We call it in Indonesia, it's PJJ, pembelajaran jarak jauh, or long distance education. This is enacted because of we want to anticipate the worsening situation in our hometown, especially relating to COVID-19. So beginning 16 March, all students started to learn from home. But the lecturers, the staff, they are still coming to campus. So during the 17th to 19th of March, we conducted emergency workshops for lecturers. We provide them trainings on how to use the learning management systems that we have, the video conferencing software, the how to record lectures, and then using your PowerPoint to record your own voice over your slides, and then use it for the LMS. And then on the 20th of March, because of the worsening situation, the university decided that all lecturers and general staff should start working from home. So basically, it's a campus lockdown. And then on the 28th of April, there is the citywide lockdown, or we call it large-scale social restrictions imposed in our Surabaya city, beginning with 28th of April up to 11th of May. And then this lockdown is, well, it's not really a lockdown, it's like just social restrictions, because people can still go out, but very limited. This social restriction has been extended twice until 8th of June, and then it's a new normal, basically. But people are still encouraged to wear masks, social physical distancing, and then hand washing, etc., etc. And starting on 19th of March, we conducted Excellence in Learning and Teaching Center. We conducted an online survey for students, and the survey lasted slightly until May, but we took the data until 24th of April, and then it becomes a project for students to process that data statistically and then present the results to us. And then we use the online survey method using Google Form. It's very simple. And then we have voluntary responses from students. The limitation is that the survey is just like our moving to online learning is emergency, meaning it's not designed with proper training planning. So it's just basically, okay, we now have to go to online learning, and then we just conducted the survey. So it's very simple survey. And then the data collection is, we distributed the link of the Google form to lecturers, and then ask the lecturers to show the students the link so that the students can submit their responses after online sessions. And so far, during that time period from 19th of March to 24th of April, we have accumulated approximately almost 2,000 responses from students. But the responses each student could submit more than one responses. So it doesn't mean 1,958 students responded. It's just that we collected that many responses from, we don't know how many students, maybe approximately more than 1,000. Okay, and this is the first data that I could show you, the distribution of our respondents across faculties. Basically, the distribution is reflective of our the student body in each faculty at Petra Christian University. It's just that there is one exception. The FPE means the Faculty of Business and Economic. It has more students, but in this case, it has less responses compared to the FTI. This is Faculty of Technological Engineering. So, but all the rest of the faculty are reflective based on their number of students. And I have to mention the credit for the graphics and the data processing to 3 of our students, Erika Giovanni Sugianto, Rudy Darmawan, and Sharon Natasha Sutanto. 96.8% of the responses we got from undergraduate students, because as I mentioned, our student body consisted of mainly undergraduate students. Okay. Now, the student perception on the online learning. We asked the students to rate about their experience of their online learning, or PJJ in Indonesian. And then this is basically the general overview that we have. So very negative perception is only 2%, negative perception about 10%, neutral, meaning they say, okay, that's okay, 36%, positive 38%, and then very positive 14%. So basically, there were only 12% of students who viewed their experience of the online learning as negative or very negative. And we want also to see, this is the general overview for the whole period of the survey. But now we want to, I would like to show you the change in the student perception based on the weekly basis. So basically the period of the survey, it was 5 weeks. So that's how the perception of the students evolve from week 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So as you can see here, there is like a decline in the perception up to the 3rd week, and then it's basically going up again to its starting point. I could only speculate that the decrease was due to the the midterm exam, because we had received various complaints of their experience in the midterm exam. But after the midterm exam, the perception rose up again. The percentage is on the left. Okay, and then now, besides the quantitative information that I give you, we also, in the survey, we asked 2 simple questions to the students. Do you have any input, critics, maybe, or suggestions? And then question number 2 is, do you have any unique experience during your online learning sessions? So based on that, on those 2 questions, we could categorize all the responses into 5 different things, which is we call the 5M method, which consists of from upper right and clockwise is the man, machine, method, material, and money. And then from man, it's 19%, almost 20% contributed to the problems. So it means that 20% of the problems relating to the man factor. What are those? About lecturers, about their teaching techniques, about the students themselves, because of the lack of self-discipline or boredom or distractions that they experience during the online learning, which might not be happening during the physical classes. But these things came up during the online learning or online classes. And then the second thing is about machine. A machine contributes 25% of the overall problem. Consists of the learning management software, video conferencing software, internet connection, general hardware or software issues or problems. Those are 25% of the whole problem. But the biggest problem is the method, which contribute more than half, 50.4% of the whole problem. This includes too many assignments, they complain, and then the students complain, too many assignments, conflict of schedule, communication, the lack of structure in the whole learning online learning experience, and then about the synchronous versus asynchronous sessions of the online learning. I will talk more about this later. And then much smaller number is about material, only 1.2%. It's about the technical subject that involve maths. I think I saw one of the questions in the chat Zoom, in the chat section of the Zoom about this question as well. That in certain subjects, lecturers found it difficult to explain if it's too technical or needs a lot of mathematical equations. It's difficult for them to explain that to the students. And then the last aspect is about money, 3.5%. It's about internet or data quota. Basically, that this online learning requires students to buy what we call in Indonesia is an internet quota or data quota. Okay, so basically that's it. So out of these five categories, I would focus on the two biggest percentage, which is the method and the machine. And then my next slides will focus on these two. Okay. Now, about the method that contributes 54% of the problems for the students. Number one is about assignment. Okay, the student said that it's just too much. Okay, I will just try to read some of the. So lecturers tend to add more assignments than previously agreed upon at the beginning of the semester, because the semester started when it was still physical classes, offline classes. But then after maybe 4 weeks or 5 weeks, we had to switch wholly to online classes. So some lecturers, with this switch, they add more assignments than previously agreed upon at the beginning of the semester. This tendency can either be on top of the online synchronous session or video conference, or the assignments were given to compensate for the lack of or absence of the online synchronous session by the lecturers. Okay, so basically, some lecturers, they switch to online sessions, they give video conferencing sessions, but they add the assignments. Or some lecturers, they had difficulty in utilizing the new software, the new technology. So basically, they, in the first few weeks of the online learning period, they just stopped giving synchronous session. So meaning no video conference session. So they just add more assignments to compensate for the lack of or the absence of the video conferencing sessions. Some, mostly older lecturers, have some difficulties in adopting these new tools or technologies to conduct online learning, either the LMS or the video conferencing software. Even though we have introduced the software during the emergency workshop sessions, but maybe it's just too fast. It's just too quickly moving, and then it's too short. So they still need time to process everything. So they have some difficulties. Okay, this complaint is by far the most dominant one from the students. So many students are complaining about this aspect. Too many assignments. Okay, and then number two is about scheduling conflict. I don't know, maybe because lecturers think that, oh, synchronous online learning, meaning that it can be conducted at any time, right? So some lecturers just hold the online video conferencing. The session was held outside of the regular class schedule. And this has caused some conflicts of schedule with other classes. So students are in a dilemma, because a particular lecturer has changed the schedule that will also taken the time of other schedule. And then this has created a lot of headache for the students. Number three is about the online test. This is why I speculated that the decrease in the student perception on the third week was, I think, one of the contributing factor is this online test. I think it's mostly about the mindset. many lecturers still think that like students will cheat. Okay, so some lecturers, because of this mindset, some lecturers tend to be too rigid with online tests. For example, because they have the mindset that students will cheat if they are not monitored closely as in the physical classes. So these lecturers, they look for ways to make it hard for students to cheat in online tests. It can be done in the form of grouping some questions and assigning a certain amount of time, maybe usually very tightly timed, before the students can move on to the next group of questions, and so on and so on. So a very tightly timed group of questions before they could move to the another group of questions. This has created an unnecessary stressful situation for students since they need more time to work on the online environment, especially in doing tests online. This is due to the newness of the environment as well as the internet connection aspect. So some students do not have reliable or fast enough internet connection. Many students said that they have experienced panic due to the continuing counting down of the time in the online text. So it gives them a sense of urgency, but at the end, it creates a panic. Things will get even worse when the students get a connection problem or laptop problem or computer problem. They went into panic mode, of course. So instead of preventing students from cheating, the measures that have taken by the lecturers have caused honest students to do worse in online tests due to the stress. So we can talk more about that in the question and answer if you are interested. But number 4, it's about environment. Online learning means new environment for most of the students. This relates also to the third aspect from the students, which is an environment and technical problem. So with this new adjustment, not only the lecturers, but also the students, even though they are millennial generation, they adapt more quickly than their lecturers, but still, this is a new learning and teaching environment. Lecturers and students need time to adjust. So in the perspective of the lecturers, they still need to adapt that your teaching method on the physical classes may not be able to be exported directly as they are into the online environment. You might want to make some changes. So the mindset has to be changed as well. Okay, and then for the students, it's relating to this whole new environment, the additional stress that they have while they are doing their tests, while doing their learning, the distractions, and then even the physical space that they have. Not many students, not all students have a quiet space, or not all students have their own private room where they can do the online learning in a conducive environment. Some might have too many distractions around them while they are learning. Okay, so the number 1, but again, it's about the assignment. The assignment is the number 1 complaint from the students. And then about now we got to the second aspect, which is a machine, which contributed 25% of the whole problems. So basically, we have our own LMS that we call Lentera or Moodle. It's based on Moodle, but we name it Lentera. It's the second. But we also give the freedom to the lecturers because it's a sudden move to online learning. Our LMS was not ready at that time to handle all the online learning activities from all the classes. So at that time, we had a policy that all lecturers, you are free to use all the LMS that you deemed suitable for your classes. So basically, more lecturers at our university selected to use Google Classroom, 82% something, and then the Lentera, about 60%. Why is not 100%? Because one lecturer can select more than one options. And then there are other options as well, the other option here. And then about the video conference software, during our emergency workshop sessions, we taught several different kind of software for video conferencing. And it ended up that Google Meet or Hangout is in the first position, and then Zoom, and then Cisco WebEx, and then others, other softwares. But these two are the two players, Google Meet and Zoom. We have a Google Suite subscription, so most of our lecturers use Google Meet or yeah, and then some lecturers use Zoom. Okay, and then to the next slide. This is the breaking down of the use of video conferencing software based on faculty. So as you can see here, most of the faculties use Meet more than Zoom, with the exception of two faculties, which is the FSD, means a faculty of art and design, and then FTSP that include the Department of Architecture. So these two faculties, because their nature of their subject, the field of study, they need Zoom, particularly because of the annotation function of Zoom, because they have to teach something that is visual to their students. They, most of the lecturers in these two faculties elected to use Zoom more than Google Meet. But in other faculties, Google Meet is the number one. Yeah. Just have one or two more slides. Now, the second aspect in the machine aspect is the internet hardware software. Some of the technical or machine aspect involved in the conducting online instruction experienced by students using during COVID-19. The major problem is the data connection, as the previous two keynote speakers have alluded to, that data connection is a big problem, even though no big problem in the big cities like in Surabaya, okay? But even though in Surabaya, some of our students have complained that they have financial issues to buy the internet quota, because with all the accessing of the digital resources and the video conferencing, they need a lot of internet quota. And then some of our students went back to their home localities, and this can mean very far away in the East Nusa Tenggara or in the Moluccan Island, where they have been experiencing problems with data connection in terms of the signal coverage, in terms of the internet connection reliability or the speed. So this has become a big problem for our students. And then the second with less intensity is the hardware and software, because we are giving the freedom to the faculties to use whatever learning management software that they want, whatever video conferencing software that they find it useful. So different lecturers will use different kind of software, and these are kind of like confusing for some students. So they said that we need to have some more some standardization for the use of software for LMS and for video conferencing. And then about computer, laptop, smartphone are now the main tools for learning. It used to be additional tools. Now it's the main tools. Headphone, headset, earphone, now essentials. It used to be just for entertainment in the past, but now it's so essential, as well as with any other additional hardware and software that lecturers or students need to purchase, because they could no longer, or they had some problem accessing certain software from the lab on campus. Now some of them have to install their own software in their home. Okay, so those are basically just the overview of the survey results. I'm just focusing on the main problem of the two aspects of the man and machine. And just to close my presentation, just to show you that we just published a book. We call it Mendadak Daring, which in English literally translated into suddenly online, because we are forced to be online suddenly. We have released these ebooks to the public on the 29th of June, but unfortunately, it's only available in Bahasa Indonesia. We still don't know whether we will be translating this to English, but we'll let you know if we do decide on that. So yeah, basically that's the whole of my presentations, and I would like to give the time back to the moderator. Thank you.